So how is it being the director of recruiting at Arkansas?
It's good. I mean, it's every school comes with its pros and cons, in recruiting, and we have a ton of pros, and it's easy. I shouldn't say easy, but it's easier to recruit here. There's a lot of great things about the state, about the school, about the administration, about the staff, facilities, all that sort of thing that make my job a lot easier.
Yeah. So where'd you go to college?
University of San Diego.
And were you like a manager there?
Yeah, I was just a manager there for probably like, I guess all 4 years, and then went and was a GA at Nevada, and then was here last year, and this will be going into my second year.
Do you know Joey Fuca?
Yeah, I'm actually really, really close with Joey.
I've met him. He got on the show too, so he's a cool guy. What's he doing now? Because I know he left Prolific, right?
Yeah, he left Prolific, and he was trying to get on with that G League, what is it,
Oh,
G League
right.
Select or whatever it is with the high school kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to get in with that because that's like right, because I actually grew up like with Joey, like in the same city in Danville,
Okay.
California, and that's where the headquarters, well, where they're gonna be like
Yeah.
training and stuff is like right there.
I'm curious, how was it like growing up? I'm also like a son of a coach, but yours is obviously different. Like you grew up around the NBA. Kind of, how was that? Like talk
Yeah, I
about that.
mean, um, growing up around the NBA was when you're in it, you don't really realize how special it is,
Right.
and then kind of as I've gotten older, I've kind of realized how lucky and how fortunate I was to get to be around that, to be around those guys, and even though I was at such a young age, I was learning even back then, and then just the little things like being able to hop on charter flights and kind of get to experience that lifestyle and be in
Mhm.
the nice hotels and all that sort of thing. And then obviously the games and the practices, which are just, amazing in themselves.
Right.
Um, but yeah, it was something I was definitely really fortunate to experience. And I'm kind of starting to realize that, later on in my life.
Yeah. So you go from manager at San Diego to, like you said, GA right at Nevada. What was kind of your first starting out role at over at Nevada?
Yeah, so I transitioned, when I was a manager, I was more in practice, working guys out, stuff like that. And then you transition to more of the office side of things when you're working full time as a GA,
Mhm.
and just kind of getting acclimated with that. That's something that until you're really in, a role where you're working in the office all day, every day, it's kind of hard to understand, where you're going to fit in.
Right.
And then just finding my little niche where I can, help the staff. And Coach Muss does a great job of kind of letting everyone have an equal voice and, letting everyone in the staff meetings and recruiting meetings and everything like that. So um, just kind of navigating my way in my first year was the biggest thing for me, and kind of realizing, some stuff I'm good at, some stuff I need to improve on. And I'm still working on that quite a bit because I'm only in year 2 now.
Right.
But yeah, just kind of figuring out what I can do, and little minuscule ways that I can help the team in any way.
Okay. So then you get to Arkansas. What are some things that you kind of found you fit your role? Because I know you do the social media stuff too, right? Or some of it at least.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, my main role is recruiting first, and then kind
Okay.
of a bunch of other things second. So I do, all the normal recruiting duties, whether it be, uh, evaling prospects or, texting with prospects, stuff like that. And then like you mentioned, me and a few other people and a few other staff members will help run the Twitter and the recruiting site, and we'll give Coach Muss stuff to send out, give Coach Muss stuff to tweet, just make content, kind of stuff like
Yeah.
that, and getting graphics out to some of our prospects. And then it's been interesting, with the pandemic, we've really seen a shift in how we recruit, just in terms of there's a lot more Zoom and FaceTime involved, just
Right.
because there's no visits. and there's a lot more evaling on streams because you can't, send coaches out to go eval in person. And there's different hurdles with that, but it's been nice, as someone in a non-coaching staff role that can't go recruit, to be able to watch games and kind of do my own evals and
Mhm.
and watch these streams has been a definite shift in recruiting, and it's been beneficial to me and some of the other people I work with who have kind of been able to do a little bit of that coaching role.
So you talk those like skills, making content and stuff. Obviously, that's not easy. Have you kind of self-taught yourself, or was that something you kind of studied in college, or like as far as being able to just create a piece of content to send to a recruit or for your dad to tweet or something?
Yeah, so all of us in the office are self-taught. I mean, we help each other out quite a bit, and we it's like anything else where you pick up bits and pieces, whether it be on YouTube or talking to
Yeah.
other people at other programs or talking to people within your own program. But we use Photoshop a lot, and I think Photoshop is kind of something that's in the last 5 years has really heated up at all levels of college and all sports for that matter. So that's been a huge thing, and yeah, I've just been self-taught. And then as far as like creating videos, stuff like that, I mean, we're all trying to learn on a daily basis how we can, kind of find different areas that other people might not be promoting about their programs that we can promote and kind of separate ourselves.
So I'm just curious, say you're recruiting a kid and are you guys just like, will you send them graphics, videos, like, and how many of, like, how does that work?
Yeah, it depends on the kid. I mean, you try to find that hot button that a kid's really interested in, whether it be academics.
Okay.
Everyone's different. So, for instance, we could be recruiting a kid who's a high academic person coming out of a high academic high school, and they want to go into a business degree, and
Right.
we're gonna sell our business program and sell, hey, you know, these are the resources that we have. These are the accolades of the professors and of the school, and this is where we rank here, and these are the resources we have and stuff like that. Or maybe it's the facilities, which at our level, there's everyone's got such nice facilities that you're kind of splitting hairs if you're gonna
Right.
show your facilities. But there's pieces of facilities that set you apart. Like, we have our own basketball building where it's men's and women's basketball, and that's a huge advantage for us because it's weights. They can eat meals in here.
Yeah.
They can meet with any of the coaches because we're all in here. They have their own practice gym where they can come in 24/7 and work out. So it's just certain things like that. And then selling your city. I mean, at the end of the day, prospects are gonna, they're gonna live in your city, and a lot of them, what people don't realize is after you graduate college, a lot of people end up, eventually returning back to where they went to school or that general area. So
Right.
selling the area, selling the state, and then selling the support system that's going to be around you, whether it's professors, coaches, athletic administration, trainers, just the general public,
Yeah.
just stuff like that. Anything that can kind of give you a leg up.
Hmm. So I was going through your Twitter and I saw that I've never seen something like that. That's really like innovation. Can you kind of talk about that and explain it a little?
Yeah, so we partner with a company called Influencer, and there's other schools that are partnered with them, but they're basically a way to get content from the people who create the content, who take the pictures, who take the videos, and get it directly through an app to our student athletes. And so if there's pictures taken at a game, those pictures
Okay.
are uploaded into a server.
Right.
They use facial recognition, and then they're all put on the app
Wow.
on your phone. So say like a player like Mason Jones, who that tweet was about, he can play a game against Kentucky or against Missouri or anybody,
Mhm.
and that next morning or that night he's going to have between 10 or 100 pictures of himself from that game, and then he can use that to kind of help build his brand, so to
Yeah.
say, um, and just post and kind of get his followers
Right.
intrigued and everything. And and Mason he's a special player first of all, and he declared for the draft obviously, but he he had the second biggest jump in all of men's college basketball in terms of his follower growth over the last year. And a lot of that was, an SEC scoring title helps. Even like one play, like he hit a game winner against Georgia Tech, and his followers went through the roof that night because he was on Sports Center top 10 plays, House of Highlights, all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But we're able to track all that, and followers, you gain followers, you lose, what content you post that generates the most reactions and interactions, when the best time is to post, what days, what times,
Yeah.
is it after a game, is it leading up to a game, is it on a Sunday when people aren't working? So that sort of thing has kind of helped us transition as we transition into the name, image, and likeness era.
Yeah, that was kind of my next question. Where do you see the name, image, and likeness era, I guess, going in the future?
Yeah, I think it's really important that student athletes are able to use their name, image, and likeness. I mean, I've always been a big believer in, that being their property and that being everyone's property for that matter.
Right.
But I do think it's a great step for the NCAA. And I think, you know, as we kind of see a shift, the NCAA hasn't released the official set of rules and how everything's going to be governed and the guidelines and that sort of thing. But, there's going to be a clear line between what the universities can do and the student athlete and how they profit off their name, image, and likeness. So, what we're able to do in that area, isn't exactly clear.
Yeah.
But any way that we can take the name, image, and likeness thing out of it, any way we can help a student athlete build their brand, their personal brand, whether it be for the next level or for their career, just that's important to us. So we're just going to focus on promoting our student athletes to the best of our ability.
Right. Yeah. Um, and then a couple more questions. What is it like going to work for your dad every day?
Yeah, it's really cool. Um, when you're involved in coaching, there's a lot of time that's sacrificed away from your family,
Yeah.
and it's hard. I mean, there's stress that gets put on your relationships and your kids and everything, and so being able to kind of get back that time that is lost, when you're growing up has been really important to me, and it's been really beneficial to me. I mean, he's one of, if not the best teachers I've ever been around. And he's always learning, and he's, going on podcasts and listening to podcasts and reading articles. And I'll get a stack of notes like this big every morning of like 50 to 100 pieces of paper of stuff to read. And so for my career, it's been, the best thing that I could have probably ever done. But then, yeah, just the personal side of things, I mean, you get to be around your family, you get to be around your dad. And I wouldn't want it any other way.
Yeah, man. Well, I think that's all I got. Really appreciate you for coming on here. And best of luck this year, man.
Yeah, of course, man. Thanks for having me on.